welcome to 4 Minutes Closer to God. My name is Doug. Today I want to talk about the means of salvation. So by grace you are saved through faith, that not of ourselves, but it is a gift of God. And so that gift of God is provided in the graciousness of the gift and the graciousness of the giver, but also in the gift of faith. And so if a person wants to pray, they can have an increase of faith as offered by God to us. And so the faith that then continues through our lives as we grow in obedience, grow in Christ-likeness, grow in our own salvation. And let me define salvation just in one simple term. It is the rescue from death. And so what needs to be rescued? So our bodies are dying, our souls are perpetually in a fight against the forces of darkness and death, and then our spirits have been enlivened, given new life and new illumination by God. And so that is the justification of our being in a kind of a legal sense, but really it comes out to being a real life-changing experience where our spirits are given new life, and then we become qualified to have an existence with God, which then requires the stripping away of all those parts of our habits and outlooks, ways of life, and those things that keep us away from God. So we are to grow in Christ's likeness. That is the rescue of our souls from death. And then finally the rescue of our bodies from this mortality is what God imparts to us upon our death. We get this glorified body. And so when that actually happens timing-wise, I can't say for sure, but I do know that in my transition from life on earth, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. That's a spiritual sense. But when our bodies are reconnected with our spirits, then at that point we have these glorified bodies, and those glorified bodies allow us to be in the presence of God, the glory of God and the majesty there, without feeling just being burned away because our bodies are not fit. And so the rescue from death is this salvation, and it comes by God's grace, his gracious gift to us. And the one definition that's used most in my hearing is grace is unmerited favor. So you don't earn it. It's just something that God grants to you. And then he will help us with the faith part so that we can continue in faith and obedience. So is salvation a one-time thing where we are saved and our destiny is secured from that point onward? Or is faith required? Do we have to continue to walk in faith to prove that God's gracious gift to us has been received? And so can we turn away from God? Can we give up on God and say, I no longer believe in God, and still, because of a one-time decision, make it to heaven? And that's where the dispute comes between the different denominations as they emphasize certain parts of the Bible. And so if you emphasize the sovereignty of God, then God is sovereign. He has chosen you, and so he will fulfill that promise. But others say we need to be faithful. And that is the question.